Hello friends, welcome back. Dieyen DualPen, another video on practical penmanship here. Focus today is left-handed writing. So if you're a left-hander and you would be interested in improving your penmanship, stay tuned. And if you're somebody who writes with the right hand, you definitely want to stay tuned because I myself am also a right-handed individual, but I have taught myself to write very well with both hands. Find out why.
How does he do it?
My dear boy, do you ask a fish how it swims?
No.
Or a bird how it flies?
No.
No, sirree, you don't. They do it because they were born to do it.
So, I want to start off by talking about the problem I see encountered by people who write with the left hand. So in the English language, cursive handwriting travels from left to right. Now when you are writing with the right hand, typically what happens is we angle the page slightly to the left, about 45 degrees. We angle our body as well, and we write naturally pulling outward across the page. Now if I take this exact same form and I toss the pencil into my left hand and I try to write in the same fashion, typically what happens is I have to hook my hand downward like this in order to write. So for example, I'm just going to do some drills here. And this, although it feels somewhat natural, the longer I do it, I notice I have some strain up here in my wrist. It isn't a comfortable position for the wrist to be in. And as I move along, I can't easily slide the arm across. I can. I lose a little bit of control. So I have to stop, slide the paper. Now what happens over time is I move down the page, because my hand is above the line like this, I'm going to start going over what I've already written. Now if you're a left-handed person, you know the problem that arises from this. Your palm will get covered in graphite. Now if you have a wet pen, you could potentially smear the ink. There are some factors that could contribute to that that are out of your control. But I'm naturally a right-handed person. So my perspective on this problem comes from teaching myself to write with the left hand. Now when I was taught to write with the right hand, it came totally easily, right? Arm naturally will slide in that direction, no problem. I can do loops with these. My wrists will glide easily. So when I was encouraged to start training my left hand to write, I was told that I should write in mirror image. So if I angled the paper now the opposite direction, I turn my whole body the opposite direction, and with the left hand I'm going to write in mirror image, so in reverse all my L's will travel the opposite direction. And this is how I learned to write with my left hand. And so I began to build up some dexterity, some considerable dexterity with the left hand. And as that continued to progress, I thought, oh well, I might as well learn to write forward as well. And in trying to learn to write forward, I looked for the position that would be the most comfortable. And since I had done a lot of restructuring in the way my right hand wrote, for example, my right hand used to buckle the index finger, and that created a lot of tension. I used to write with a lot of pressure on the page. There were a lot of problems that I had to correct, so I looked for the most comfortable position to write, because now I was starting to handwrite for long periods of time. And in my search to write comfortably with the left hand forward, I found that if I turn the whole page sideways, now here's the solution to the problem. You turn your whole page sideways and write vertically down the page. Your left hand flows at a more natural position. I have much nicer left-handed penmanship. I can write with much less pressure, and my palm doesn't have to rest down on the page. One of the main problems with left-handed handwriting when you're writing forward, and the way that they teach you, a lot of people don't teach you, especially because you're a left-handed person. And so you have to go and find your own way to handwrite, and because of that, there are tons of different methods for left-handed writers. Everyone's coming up with their own method, and some of them are good, some of them could be better. And it's not to say that if you're a left-handed person that you have to change. If you're comfortable, you can stay this way and keep your method of writing. However, when I was teaching myself to write with the left hand, I found that pushing this way across the page was very difficult because, one, I didn't have a natural flow of the wrist. I had to bring my wrist in, over, contract the wrist down in order to flow nicely. And this pushing motion across the page wasn't extremely comfortable. And I remember seeing left-handed people write with their hand above the line like this. And I was trying to figure out how it worked. And when I was doing so, although I'm not horribly bad, I'm fairly ambidextrous now, so I can try something and be proficient at it with the left hand. But I digress. See, the motion that's coming here is a lot of it's in my fingers. There wasn't much option for my hand to do its natural rotations or its natural flows. And because of that, I looked for a different way of handwriting with the left hand forward. So the best way I found, again, was writing vertically down the page. This allowed for the wrist to also pronate a little bit more because I like to write with my hand and the knuckles pointing upwards. That's a little bit more comfortable for me. I can hold the pencil more comfortably that way. And I write vertically down the page. This also allowed me to hit this slant that was similar to my natural right-handed writing. It was at about 45 degrees to the horizontal line. Getting smaller as I go along there. But this was the best way I learned to handwrite with the left hand. And so what I'm doing right now, these drills that you're seeing right now, are the drills you can do to, say if you're a left-handed writing and you want to improve your handwriting. You want to find a different way of writing that would allow for a little bit more natural motion in the arms and in the wrist. These are some of the drills you can do. Just simple loops, simple L's. Pay attention to the slant of your L's. Pay attention to the spacing in between the letters. Now I don't have a ton of space because there's a camera right here, but I would slide the paper up more rather than pushing the arm down if I was writing this way. I notice that if I go a little slower, I'm a little shakier. So if I write quickly, I go up quickly and I go down quickly. Up, slow, curve, down, fast, up, slow. So up quickly, slow curve, down. Up, down. Up, nice and gradually, slow curve, and down. So we're picking up speed as we go up, taking the curve very slow, and then we can go fast down. Yeah, see this shake right around here? Remember, I'm not a natural left-hander, so I'm doing a bunch of different movements here. I don't have as much dexterity with my left hand as I do with my right hand. So you see these shaky moments when I'm moving slowly, even when I'm circling, I'm shaking. But it's in part because my left hand is only 6 years old. It's only been writing for 6 years. My right hand started writing when I was 5, is over 2 decades old. So if you're a right-handed person and you're watching this video and you're thinking, wait a second, this person's ambidextrous and he trained himself to be so. Can I do it too? Absolutely you can. You can become ambidextrous also. And I highly recommend you do so because it does wonders for your brain. If you're interested in learning about what ambidexterity can do for you, make sure you check out a book called Whole Brain Power. That gets into a lot of the neurological evidence that supports ambidextrous practice and why you should do it for your brain and keep yourself healthy for long periods of time through different types of brain exercises that involve coordination. And I have a book that I've just recently published called Creative Brain Training. And this Creative Brain Training book covers the class that I offer in the prison system currently. It's an art class. It talks about how conscious breathing, how ambidextrous handwriting, and drawing and coloring, as well as other exercises such as juggling, anything that you can imagine, do it ambidextrously, because this is going to force the brain to adapt and change and become stronger. The same way your muscles adapt and change and become stronger through running. Handwriting and ambidextrous practice, developing the opposite side of the body to have equal coordination, stimulates new areas of the brain. And I highly encourage you to jump into some ambidextrous training. So if you're a left-handed person and you have kids for whatever reason, and they turn out to be left-handed, or you're ambitious and wish to teach your kids from a young age how to be ambidextrous, consider all of these different things when you're teaching them to handwrite. Proper handwriting is so important for the development of the brain, and the education system is really doing a disservice to the upcoming generations by not teaching this basic practice. It does so much for communication, for creative and critical thinking, cognitive functioning. We need adequate blood flow through the brain, and penmanship, ambidextrous handwriting, does that to a very great degree, and I highly encourage you to teach your kids if you have any, or to share this practice with any loved ones. Really look into the ambidextrous handwriting because it will change your life. I could go into story time about this, but that is way too long of a video, and we can cover that in another segment if you guys are interested. Let me know with a like in the comment section below, or a specific comment saying that you would like to learn a little bit more about the ambidextrous handwriting and what it can do for the brain, because I'd love to provide you guys with that content. So this is the very basic exercise. Left-handed penmanship. Done. Vertically down the page. I find this motion and position to be the most natural and comfortable for the left hand to write forward. Do notice that this exemplar is primarily in cursive handwriting, and that is also because cursive handwriting demands more effort from the brain. The consistent point of contact The consistent point of contact allows for the brain to multitask on the act of handwriting, as well as the cognitive act of thinking thoughts. It is one of the most unique exercises because it allows for the combination of kinesthetic intelligence and cognitive intelligence in the form of linguistic communication to work together, unlike any other exercise. There is not a single exercise that is akin to penmanship. In any language for that matter, if you are Arabic or Chinese or Japanese, handwrite in your form of calligraphy. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it has been helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. If you have any suggestions, please leave them down below. I would love to start a discussion on this. I am very much interested in cursive handwriting, ambidextrous handwriting. So if you are someone who's naturally ambidextrous, or if you're someone who is left-handed, please leave some feedback on this video. Let me know if it helps. Let me know if it's absolutely ridiculous, whether or not this technique actually works for you. I am very interested in getting your feedback on this video. So please let me know if you have any thoughts at all. Make sure you like the video with the thumbs up button down below. There you go, the thumbs up, just like that, the thumbs up button. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I'm going to continue to produce content related to handwriting. Thank you very much for watching. Alright friends, that's all I have for you today. I hope that if you're a left-hander, that this video has helped you in your pursuit of left-handed penmanship. And if you're somebody who's right-handed, I hope that this video has inspired you to go out and also develop your left hand's ability when it comes to penmanship. If you want to find out more about why ambidextrous handwriting is an incredible exercise for the brain and how it's going to keep you mentally fit, make sure to check out the book Whole Brain Power by Michael J. Lavery. It's got an intense amount of information that goes into why ambidexterity is neurologically sound and why it is worth your time and why you should incorporate it into your life as soon as possible. I've also released a book entitled Creative Brain Training, which covers a class that I offer to incarcerated participants. And this program goes into how you can pragmatically approach ambidextrous exercises in a creative way through coloring, drawing, handwriting, and all sorts of different ways. It also talks about my conscious breathing exercise. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure you check the link below. I'm currently offering the first 3 chapters completely free, and take advantage of the offer because this practice has completely changed my life. It's really important, and I hope that it can also affect your life in a positive way. Take care. Thanks for sticking around. Make sure to hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. Thanks.